Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make a harness for your schleich horses. So the harness I'm going to make is going to be used to be pulling logs. So this is the schleich horse that I'm going to be using as a model. Alright, now we have her. So I use this fake leather for the harness, as you can see. And I have a lot of it, so yeah, this is what I'm going to use. So I already made some jump rings and all these things, but I will show you how to make all of them. But let's just start. So now you just need a scissor and you need to cut a leather strap like this. So I'm going just to show you. So this is what it looks like right now, but we are going to measure it on our horse so I can show you how it's going to look. So this is what we have right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your horse and you're going to like measure it right here around, like kind of like where the mane is, and you're going to see if these are like going right here like this. So this one is really perfect because it's just going over the shoulders and also here. So when you have measured that and find out that it is perfect, you're just going to cut really small thin pieces here. I can just show you how you're going to do it. Alright, so this is what it looks like. So let me just get my model right here. So it should look like this. So it's going like over the shoulders of the horse, or like the mane. And this is what it looks like. So now you're just going to take this aside because we're going to use this later. So we will just put it right there. So the first thing, or the next thing we're going to do is take some more piece of leather I have right here. And we are going to make a kind of like the same thickness of the other leather. So it's probably going to be like this. Alright, perfect. So now we have this. So I can see it's too thick for, I don't know if it's too thick, but I think I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so it can be like more realistic. And the smaller you make it, the more realistic it kind of gets. So I'll just make this a little bit smaller, but not too small so it looks weird. Alright, I think this is perfect. You can see from here, this one has to be a little bit thinner here than it has to be right there. So yeah, we got these right here. So now you're going to measure from the shoulders, not up here where here's, but more like down with the feet. So you can measure, there's like almost 1 centimeter, probably a half centimeter I think, and measure that on the other side. And so yeah, I got it right here, and we're just going to cut. There we go. Alright, so now we have this piece. So now we're just going to like cut around the edges so it looks kind of round like this. So now you're going to take a smaller piece and make the exam like kind of like a centimeter longer than the other one, but you want to make it really thinner than the other, like half the size, I would say. So I don't know if this is too big, but we will just find out in a second. So now we will take this one and we will like put it here. So you can see this one is kind of too big, so we're just going to make it smaller. I think it's okay, but yeah. All right, let's see if it fits more. So now it fits perfectly, but I have to make it more. You can see it's not that perfect, so I will try to do that. So now I need to make a lot of these small pieces. So right now I don't have a lot of them, but I will make some more because we need these for the smaller jump rings that is going on the harness. So now that we have the most things ready to make the first part of the harness, we are actually going to start. So the first thing we're going to need is this right here. So we need this and we need this. So the first thing you're going to do is you will need a jump ring. So the jump ring needs to look like this, if you can see it. Alright, so the jumping needs to look like this. So let me show you how to make one. So first you need some wire. So the first thing you need to do is you're just going to take the wire and just turn it around, all the way around, and then you can just take it off and you can just cut the wire, and then you have this jumping. So you're just going to have it like this, and you're just going to glue it together like this. So now you're just going to make these really small jump rings, and then you're just going to glue them onto the breast collar. So you have to glue a very small leather piece onto this jump ring. Then you're going to take your breast collar like on the harness, and you're just going to glue this one very close to the edge, and you're going to glue one beside it, and you're going to do the same on this side right here. So I did it to this side, so you're just going to do it on the other side as well. So it is not as perfect, but they are going to be covered up in leather because I'm going to put leather on top of it, so you can't really see the glue that great. So yeah. So now that you have this, you're just going to glue this piece on that we made before. So this is what it should look like right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some small leather pieces and glue them onto all these 4 jump rings. So now that we have this piece, we are going to make some more of this kind of jump ring. As you can see, if it will focus. And then you're going to put them on all these 4 and just glue them on. So now that I have glued all of these on, I will take this piece and I will put them in like this. And you're just going to put them on here. And you're going to measure it on your horse so you know it will fit them. So I will just try to see if it will fit my horse. Alright, there we go. So now that I have tried to measure it on my horse, I will just do it one last time so I know it will fit. Alright, so now that I have measured and I am 100% sure that it fits my horse, or kind of like that, I'll just cut small pieces off so they are the same length as the jump rings. And I will do that on both sides because they are kind of long and it looks more realistic. There we go. So here we have it. This is what it should look like. I'm going to measure it on the horse. There we go. And remember, these are the one pulling from the carriage or the log or what you're going to be using this harness to. So the girth is pretty simple. You're just going to make a fake piece. This one is too fake, but make a fake piece, put it up here, and then for the girth you're going to make a smaller piece. So I think this one is pretty good. You can put it up here. There we go. And I will recommend when the, like, you can see, if I can zoom, there we go. So it stops right here, his or her kind of like shoulder or what they're called. So I will recommend doing them to there, and then you're just going to make a girth. And remember to put a small jump ring on right here. So here's the small jump ring. So you're going to make 2 of these and you're just going to glue them on. So you have to glue them on here and also the other side so the girth can be on. Alright, so this is how it should look like. You just put it on here. So let's just make the girth. Alright, I have a small piece here and I'm just going to take the other jump ring and glue them on both sides. So now that we have the girth. Alright guys, so this is what it should look like right now, as you can see. So these are how far that we have been coming in this DIY video. So let's just get to the next point. So now we just need to take the girth off again because we have to put 2 more jump rings for the reins. So we have to glue 2 jump rings on top of this girth, just like this, and now we can just put it on our horse again. So now that we have these 2 parts, we're going to make the other part. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of leather or what you're using, and you're just going to make, just like the first thing we're going to make, we're just going to make cut like this. And then you're just going to measure it on your horse. Just like this, and you're just going to take your horse and you're just going to measure it like this. And when it's meeting on top of here, it is perfect. So this is not as perfect. So yeah, I don't know if I have to remake this one or what, but I'll see if it will work. And if not, I'm just going to make another one. So now you have to take a piece of leather and you're just going to measure it on your horse from here. And remember to take it under the tail like this. And you're just going to see if it fits just like here where the leg is going to be. It is perfect on both sides. Now you have to take a very small jump ring and glue them on both sides of the leather. So this is what it should look like. So now we're just going to take one of the smaller jump rings and glue it on here and also this side right here. So here is the small jump ring. So you're just going to glue it on the other side as well. And now I'm just going to glue a very small piece of leather to this side right here and the other side as well. So now you have to take a very small jump ring, as you can see here, and glue it on this side and the other side as well. So now you just have to glue a small piece of leather onto the jump rings and put one more lock or jump ring on this. So this is what it should look like. So now we are going to take this and the other piece we made and we're just going to put it on the horse. So this is what it should look like. So on top of this one, you know, it's going to be this way. So we're going to put a small jump ring pointing this way. So we're just going to do that. So now I have done that. We're going to put this on the side because now we need to make a new part. So now we need a small piece, as you can see here. And we're going to take this we just made before. And you can see there is a little jump ring on here. So we are going to take this leather and glue it on. So let's just tack up our horse with what we have. So I'm going to start with the girth, just like this. So now we have this girth on. I will just take another piece of leather and wrap it around the tail, and I will put 2 of these on. So you're going to cut out this piece of leather. So you will take one small jump ring and you'll just glue it on. And now you just put this on the horse. So my piece was too small, so I just made an extra jump ring, and then I'm just going to take a leather and put it around the tail, and then we're just going to put all of the other harness we made and put it on. All right, I just found a piece, and so the girth is not tight, that's why this is not tucked under the girth, but yeah. So we are just going to take all of these things on again. There we go. And then this piece we made right here, this is just going under the tail right there and up here. There we go. So I have this tiny ring I'm going to use as a lock because this one is not sitting on. So for the next step, we are going to take 2 small pieces of leather. So just like this, and we are going to glue them on this jump ring right here, and they are just going to hang like this, and then you just need to make a loop on the end so there can be a rope through, so they have to hang like this. So I just glued this piece on, and also on this side you can see. So just to make sure, these are the pieces that I glued on, and there have to be a little loop so you can put a rope through. So now you have to make a long thick piece of leather so it can go from here, from the front piece of the harness to the back, and you have to make 2 of those. So you are going to take this through right here, and if I can, it's really hard to make tack for small schleich horses. So now that you have it through this one right here, you are going to take the back that we just made, and you're going to take this rope through looks kind of messy right now, but yeah. And you're going to do that on both sides, and then you just put it up like this. So now I will do this on the other side as well. So I just got to work and I made another one. So I'll just try to do it better this time if I can. It's pretty hard. I think I got it. Alright, this one is, I think this is a little bit better than the other one that I have made. Hopefully. This is the second time I'm making these kind of harnesses, so yeah. So if you have seen my channel with this horse, I made a halter instead of a bridle because I think that looks more comfortable. So I will make that one as well right here so you can see how I'm doing that. So what you're going to do is just make a normal halter, and from that I will show you how to make the wrist. So I made the halter right now, so I'm just going to show you what it looks like on, and then I will tell you how I made it. Alright, let's just put this halter on. So this is what the halter should look like. So what I did, I just made a normal halter, but I made it out of leather. And instead of using the normal locks we normally use for the halters, I put this lock on instead. And then I cut out 2 of these square pieces and glued on in front of the eyes. And on top of that, I glued these on and I crossed them down so they are holding the eye patches, or what they're called, I don't know. So now we just need to make the reins. So for the reins, you just cut out a long piece of leather, and before you glue them on to the halter, you're just going to put them in these rings right here. So they are actually holding the reins in place, and then you can just glue them on. But if you want to take the halter off more easily, you can do something else. You can take these small jump rings and you can glue the ends on here, both sides, so they are just holding on here, and then you just take the reins off and get the halter really off easily. So I just did it to this side, so now we can just put them on the halter. There we go. Alright guys, that is how you make a harness for your horse. But let's just take it on the stable so you can see how it looks on the horse. So this is only my second time making this tag, so it doesn't look perfect. There are some spots where it could have been better, but yeah, this is how it looks like on this side. And these, you can just tie them to the carriage, and yeah. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this video helped you so you can make one of your own. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!